The Death Star. Code. Open-ended, close-ended. Are you a nerd? Well, you're going to love this friggin' episode. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back to the Build Show. My name is Matt, and this is
Potter. And don't pretend like we haven't seen each other all morning. Tell them how long you've been up, Matt.
Yeah, I've been up since about 4:30 this morning, 5 o'clock this morning.
Got up and did his farming.
Working on one of my positions. And welcome to this channel where we build financial power by waking up early in the morning to press a button on some magic money from the internet. Talk all about financial power here. Potter's been in this world longer than I have. She is my Sherpa. I can still say I'm still a beginner without a doubt, but I've learned quite a bit since we started the show. I've learned quite a bit, and I'll stay humble. If you're new to this world, if you don't trust anybody, smart. But the process here is documenting what I'm learning, what Potter's learning, and I'm very excited about today's topic because holy crap, is it deep down the rabbit hole. And typically Thursdays we stick to beginner type topics, but this concept, I think it installs a little more understanding to beginners. And I'm glad I found it out this early. Having said that, I think even in December, had I known that or stumbled across it, I think it would have brought a little bit more like, okay. But there again, you can't say that because in December I'd have been like, what's that? So I'm excited to dive into this. Ultimately, we're talking about your crypto, a crypto. Is there a Death Star, a kill switch, whatever you want to call it? And what we're ultimately talking about here is code. And if you haven't seen Star Wars, there is this gigantic object hanging in the sky that's like just impenetrable. It is the ultimate, never going to be able to kill it. And there's one area of it, this one faulty point, and it was, well, don't want to spoil it, whatever. It was destroyed. Or call it the kill switch. Somebody has the ability to flip a switch and it's over. You could call this a rug. Maybe this is the coding to a rug. So ultimately what we're talking about here is open-ended versus closed-ended code. When I heard this topic, I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's a method to this madness. There's a way to even talk about the concept of it. So I guess let's just start out with this. Crypto is a code. Would you call that blockchain? Like, how would you narrow that down first? And then open versus closed.
Yes, crypto is all software. And so I think if you're more developer-y, like you see that and you go, oh, open source versus closed.
Okay.
Ended code, right? So open source is stuff out there that, is just freely available. It's shared on GitHub. There's a certain, hey, we expect you to do this license. And there's closed-ended code that even though it is on GitHub, there are things that are hidden that you can't see, right? Or maybe it's not on GitHub at all. So there was an owner of Tomb Finance, Harry Ye. This guy's freaking genius. And when people started ripping off his code and making his brand look bad, he was like, that's it. I'm taking it off of GitHub. I'm sorry. But I can't have people taking our code and doing bad things to good people.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And it wasn't met with a big, hey, yeah. It was met with, hey, you can't do that. This is DeFi. Mm-hmm. Everything's open. But you can't keep everything open.
Okay.
Well, you can, but not completely open. But the spirit of open source is the majority of it is available.
Okay. I mean, what would be an example of a closed-ended code? Maybe something that a lot of people know.
Mm-hmm. Your Word.
Microsoft Word?
Mm-hmm. Excel.
Hey. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So closed-ended meaning you can't go into Excel or Microsoft and change the actual coding of it.
Right. Well, I mean, there's ways to reverse engineer everything, but
reverse engineer. But Like,
Yeah.
it's not like you can hack into Microsoft or Excel and change that. Well, hell, I guess that's possible too. But
You can change, you can hack into anything, but it's just, that's what close-ended means. It means you have to go through a great deal of trouble
okay,
to make it work. And it's not likely that you will be able to, sell it or use it without some knock at the door.
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So close-ended is something that large in Microsoft Excel. So then going the opposite direction, open-ended code obviously is a lot of DeFi. No?
Yeah. So like Airbnb is written on a platform called Rust, right?
Okay.
And there are applications written by Facebook React app, right?
Really?
That it's open source, meaning that there's libraries, there's stuff that programmers can use that they don't have to write it from themselves. Like I want to paint, if I want to paint a wall, literally, I don't want to have to go out and buy a paintbrush every time, right? To do something. I don't want to know how to make a paintbrush. I want to go buy a paintbrush.
Okay.
Right. So if I'm designing something or developing something and I want a special function to happen, like I want to take a ball and make it into a square. Oh God, I saw a YouTube video for a function that does that, So now I don't have to write all the code and know how to, the circumference of a circle and the area that's going to cover. Somebody else has already written it. So I can just access that. Cuts down on time, cuts down on costs, as well as if there's a vulnerability, everybody wants to fix it.
Okay.
If it's closed, you have to pay some people and pray that they know what they're doing. And you can only concentrate on that little group. And let's say you fix it and you put it back out there. What if it gets popped again? Because you only went with a small group of people to help fix it.
Okay.
Chances are you're going to hire professionals who are going to go out there and find the open source libraries that you're using to make it to fix the problems that you're having internally anyway. So it's a very tough decision for corporate.
Okay. So in my head, in this DeFi world, in this crypto world, if you're brand new to crypto, it is a world, it is a trustless world. And the way I'm ultimately viewing this closed-ended code and open-ended code would be open-ended code. There is vulnerabilities and the developer, let's just say it was a crypto that we were getting into. If that crypto was open-ended, there's vulnerabilities and there's more opportunity of a rug, or they can pause it. Is that correct? That's no? Okay.
It's the same level. You can remove it from crypto and you can put it towards anything.
Okay.
You can put it towards a web app, you can put it towards a mobile app, you can put it towards a application like that. If it's open-ended, vulnerabilities are in everything.
Sure.
So you're just finding a cheaper way to build code without having to pay a developer to recreate something that has already been recreated by hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Okay.
And bugs have been looked at. And when people discover bugs, they let people know quickly and people can go repair it. If it's close-end, you might see a vulnerability, but you'd say, well, your code doesn't exactly act like mine. So if you're not a software company yourself, you have to go pay somebody to fix the vulnerability versus being able to, if it's open source, say, is there vulnerability fix? No? Okay, good. It hasn't been exploited yet.
That makes sense. Okay. So open-ended versus closed-ended doesn't necessarily mean that one has more security or less security than the other. It just means one is you're basically going to be able to take it, do other things with it, fork it, and then open-ended is, I mean, you can still ultimately change things and do things. You're going to have to pay quite a bit of money to do that.
Right. If I'm a bad guy, I can write a closed-end program, have you open it, thinking it's Microsoft Word, but it's not. It's actually going to take over your computer. So, just because it's closed and you can't see the code doesn't mean it's going to be safe when you run it.
Okay. So both open and closed ended from a security standpoint. Neither one is superior. Okay. All right.
Yeah, neither is superior. What ends up being important is the length of time X thing has been available, right? So let's say NASA developed a crayon program, right? Am I going to trust NASA's crayon program, or am I going to trust the open source crayon program that's been out for 10 years? I'm going to trust the 10 years one because
Okay.
NASA probably based everything off of it,
Okay.
and they haven't run through thousands of people trying to hack it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, so to me, that sounds like there is a difference in security of open versus closed.
Okay. How do you hear it then?
Well, so you said like a paintbrush. Like a paintbrush is going and buying is open-ended code. Here's your paintbrush. Here's another paintbrush.
Paintbrush is open and closed. Like one could be from a mom and pop, another could be from the biggest paintbrush maker in the world.
Okay.
Right? This one is organic and no animals were harmed. This one, it'll paint your house, but we probably killed some, furry animals on the side of the road. Right? So which is better for the environment? Neither one. Right? Okay. This is not going to biodegrade any better. Maybe the organic one might, right? So you could say, well, maybe the bigger company, I like to go back to the NASA crayon program, right? Maybe the NASA crayon program will work because it's NASA. They got a lot of money, right? So yeah, move away from the paintbrush because I kind of was like, my bad. I was kind of coming up with an analogy there, but I think it's more of the crayon program written by somebody versus something that's open and been out for a long time. Now let's reverse it.
Okay.
Let's say NASA, who's not necessarily known for making programs, put a crayon program out there that's so freaking basic, but it's been out there 10 years. Elon Musk comes out with a crayon program from Tesla that says, we based all of our code on the crayon program that's been out there for 10 years. We're good. But we added some Tesla stuff in there. Hackers go, you changed the code. Where is that doing something that's not expected because you'd never do it in a billion years on purpose?
Okay.
Right? And that's where they go in and they try to break it. So now you say, well, do you trust Tesla or do you trust the one that's been out more?
Okay.
It's a complete, each one requires a risk assessment.
Okay. So then how about this? Recently there was an exploit. Some people say it's a rug of Splassive. Let's just go with the route that it is an exploit and it's not a rug, meaning that somebody got into this crypto and exploited it somehow. I guess the ultimate question is, because it had that ability to be exploited, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's closed-ended or open-ended, right?
Correct. It just happened to be open-ended, but their code is unique in that it does have some closed-ended functionality. However, the bad guy was able to exploit the known.
Okay. And it was open-ended.
But a lot of people will send you email that if you click on something, it takes advantage of Outlook, right? And it causes the program to work. So it's kind of, like the same thing, even though they're not, that's a closed-ended or closed source project, you're not supposed to be able to know. You know, because it's a program. They have to reveal their code.
Well, then how about this? Maybe this is a good transition, because if open-ended and closed-ended doesn't necessarily describe the security standpoint, then how about locked versus unlocked code? Is there any difference in security?
Yeah, in crypto, that's not something in crypto.
It's not in crypto.
Yeah. So Rug Doctor, they offer a service where if you want to release your stuff, give us your contract where you can't touch it. So that means that, we'll get to your thing, Ara. What was I just saying? That there's still a contract. Crap, I forgot what I was saying.
Locked versus unlocked, and just is either one more superior in security? Does it have anything to do
Oh
with
yeah, so Rug Doctor, they'll take the contract and they'll hold on to her for a little bit, right? So that when somebody brand new comes in, you don't have a name of NASA or Tesla, but they know that you can't launch your token or application and have access to the contract that can remove all the liquidity in Rug, right? So they didn't. I don't think they did that, right?
Who did? Who? Splassive?
It's passive, yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't have any assurance on that. That's why I kept it ultra high risk, right? And so I have not seen how it's done. I do not understand how you lock it, right? I don't know the code yet on how to do that, and I wasn't even going to go down that road. But now that I've seen Diamond, Animal Farm, Splassive, people are. It's a new thing in DeFi. When projects first start to stop the bots from wrecking things, people are pausing them.
Pausing a crypto. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or locking the contract, right? So once you know that a contract is locked, like Forex always says that when he was talking. He always says, the contract's locked. I can't do anything, guys. That means that he's either burned the keys or there's just no way to get in that wallet unless you're going to break all of crypto. So now it's locked. Nobody can touch it. If there's a bug in the contract, oh well, right? You're going to need a new contract. That's why some people say, I learned this when I was coding. There is the ability to make a contract so that it is editable only for a little bit of time. So some people take that and they do that and they go, okay, I see this bug, I see an exploit. This allows them to change it. However, with the people who use smart contracts, it's like, I'll never trust you, dude. Like we just started this relationship and you, in your contract, you have the ability to change the code to, I don't know, something like a BUSD Fury, or you're hiding the actual amount in there so that you can actually take it out. You're changing my ability to sell now.
Yeah. Well, and if you're new to this channel, so drip is something that we're both in, and by all means, everything we're talking about, we're not saying get in it. This is not financial advice. This is just what we're doing in documentation of our learning. But I mean, everybody in the community of drip, they're like, drip is so good, and drip is, nothing bad can happen with drip, and the price is dropping, but you're getting more drip. But if locked versus unlocked, or open versus closed ended, if ultimately neither one of those have security, you're basically just putting trust in the devs that they won't do something nefarious. So, okay, got it. So
because I can say it's locked. If you don't have the ability to go look, you're not going to know. But unlocked, I mean, that's a caution flag. Like when you're doing your own research and you go, I've never heard of this. It sounds exciting. Is their contract locked, or did they give it to an arbiter like RugDoc to say hold on to it because I know my code's good. Like just hold on to it, and then that allows RugDoc and the people using the token to say, okay, we're good. We'd really like you to make some changes. Thank you. And then they can get back and start making the changes that are necessary. And now there's a relationship that perhaps the developer won't rug.
So locked versus unlocked doesn't necessarily mean an increase in security. Neither one.
Yeah, it does. Well, kind of. So unlocked means flag. Locked means the contract is what it is. Like whatever happens is going to happen. But let's say I did that. I'm like, that's right, guys. I can't touch anything in the contract anymore. Oh no, I see a problem in the code.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's going to be exploited. So Oh, now I see what you're saying. So you're saying like neither one has a benefit. But I was saying if I'm in crypto, locked has a benefit, but only by a little bit.
Well, that sucks. I don't
Not
know.
really.
I thought I stumbled across this like, hey guys, if your crypto is locked or closed-ended, is what I thought, then there's more security because somebody can't the developers can't get back in there and change things around and screw everybody and rug it. But they can.
No, they cannot. You were right. So if it's locked, nobody can get at it, right? But let's just say I write something, I lock it, and then I find an error in it.
Right.
I can't get in it.
Right.
So everybody's screwed who signed up for my application now because I locked the contract. I now have to create a brand new contract.
V2, which is why you're seeing V2s on some of these issues. Yeah. Okay.
Because I can't change this contract. Now I got to give you another one. Or, because the exploit still exists in the old contract.
Okay.
But now if I'm a brand new developer, I haven't established any trust with you. Like you're going to be like, rugger.
Okay.
So I think it's a great question. And I think it answers a lot for people. And maybe they didn't understand until the end. But this is very important. And it's an advanced topic.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
But Ara had a question. Oh, a statement.
What you got here? So Eric said, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, throw it up there. I think it was weird that they knew there was an issue with the contract but still released it. Did Forex warn them as well? So if you're not sure what he's talking about, Forex Shark is the developer of Drip and then the Animal Farm. He's asking about the Animal Farm, and there was an issue with the contract. It launched not too long ago. There's been a lot of backlash from it. Did he warn anyone? I don't remember ever hearing that he came out and was like, hey, it's not done or not quite patched up, but we're ready to roll. Like, I don't think so. Not from what I was told. A little bit of what I heard.
Yeah, at the time that they launched this, the guy, not defending Forex too much, but just kind of drinking from a fire hose of like, oh my God, what the hell's happening? So I wouldn't have expected him to help. The bigger issue was with, hey, you guys released this and you knew you had an error in it? And that happens all the time. You just don't ever find out because the issue isn't realized. And the person who did this, it was such a small window. If I was the security officer, I would have said, even though it's a small one, you have to look for it.
Well, that's it. He said he's talking about Splassive.
I know what he's talking about.
Oh, God. See, I didn't know he was talking about Splassive. I thought he was talking about Animal Farm.
Oh, no, yeah, Splassive.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Wait. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, yes. He said I'm talking about Splassive.
Yeah. That's a good question, man. No idea. No idea if they actually spoke.
Yeah, so what happens in the professional world is like, the risk assessment that I was just talking about. Some people are like, do I go live or not? So when I was rolling out the California Health Exchange, the guy who ran it all turned to me and it was like, I said, if you launch without patching this, if something happens, nobody will excuse it. And he was like, man, I did not want to be in his shoes. We had to patch without testing right before launch. But because we did so much work, the patches weren't small, so it ended up not doing anything. But it took balls of steel, But some people's appetite, these guys were like, go ahead. Like we built up, the momentum inside a dev team the alacrity can get so exciting, That's not going to happen. And by the way, we're going to rewrite it anyway, and we'll take it out. But then you launch, and a whole bunch of stuff that you can't possibly imagine happens. You can't get back to that thing, or it just gets out of your mind. And then somebody exploits it. But because they were ready, they had action plans. Because it happened to Forex, they were ready. Because it happened to Diamond Team, they were ready. Right? So we all knew that it was ultra high risk, new blockchain, forked code. people that we kind of knew, but we didn't know them in a developer capacity. But I like what they've done, and now because of Thorex's long pause, we have more patience for Splasm. Right? It's like, well, I mean, they only been down a week.
Yeah.
We've been like waiting since Christmas for Animal Farm to come back up.
So then at the end of the day, this Death Star that we talk about is ultimately unlocked code, unlocked software. Yeah.
Yes, for the Death Star that you're talking about, in that scenario, yes, there is the force field is not up.
There you go.
Right, the force field is down, and because it's unlocked, that means you can get an X-wing right down there. And
there you go. Yep. Okay. So and then I'm sure there's some sort of technical way to figure out if something is actually locked or unlocked. I'm sure there's something in the coding that I won't even pretend to try to understand. Okay, got it.
But you can just go to Rug Doctor, type in the contract, and it'll tell you. So you don't have to do the hard work somebody's already going to do.
So there you go. Go to rugdoctor. Is it rugdoctor.com, I would assume?
Rugdoctor.io, I think.
Rugdoctor.io. Okay. That's the ultimate answer. So you can literally...
I'm sorry, rugdoc.
Rugdoc.
Yeah.
Rugdoc.
They have a lot of good, helpful stuff there.
There you go. So you can literally see if the crypto that you're in is locked or unlocked. So very nice. Well, if you're new to this here show, every Thursday, Friday, 10 Eastern, we go live and we talk about something in this world of crypto, DeFi, building financial power. And what an episode. Potter, you got anything in closing? This is episode number 21.
Wow. And I really like that. Like, we're not trying to be, these mega channel people. There is no place really to go. We kind of serve a special niche. Like, we'll promote stuff, but we're not gonna, at this time at least, create something for you to, follow. It's a good place to get information from a person who has been involved in a lot of the aspects professionally across the globe that the blockchain uses right now. So it's kind of a good place to come and say, all right, let's get past what's going up and what's going down or who's fighting with who, but let's just talk crypto. So hopefully we scratch that itch for you.
We'll be here tomorrow. Slide back by, and builders, keep building. Where's the cheers? Where's the cheers?
Yeah.
The cheers? No? Do it. Well, we already talked about it.
Cheers. I don't know. Maybe I do like the cheers after you say builders keep building.
Very nice. I like it either way.